welcome to this week's Ask Charlie. I have got Louise here with me today, who is from South Coast Dog Training. And I get so many doggy questions, I suppose, having 6 of them. People come to me and ask lots and lots of questions, so I thought we'd get an expert in this week, and Louise is going to answer our questions and also, and also do some dog training, which clearly we need. Welcome, Louise. Thank you for coming here today.
That's okay. Yes. So I'm obviously based in Chichester mainly, and I'm looking forward to some of your questions.
So, Louise, how long have you been a dog trainer?
So it's about 18 years now. So I got into it here in dogs. So I lived in Buckinghamshire, so it was in High Wycombe. So I started teaching assistance dogs. Here in dogs, but then I decided to wanted to move by the coast, so I moved to Canine Partners. And then I done some work for Hounds for Heroes, but then decided to venture into the pet dog world 9 years ago. So I then set up my own business. So I still do teach some assistance dogs, but owner trained assistance dogs. Plus my own business as well. So I teach puppies, adult dogs, lots of rescues, do one-to-ones, we do puppy class, kennel club, we do scent work, we do a little bit of everything really, and we do lots of workshops, recall, lead walking, and helpful hounds.
Amazing. Well, I've got lots and lots of questions for Louise, so we'll get going with those, shall we?
Yes, okay.
So our first question for you, Louise, is how to stop a dog barking in the night at foxes and birds. I've tried calming music.
Okay, so this one, I would probably look at the setup where the dogs are asleep, where they're sleeping. Have they got access to a window? Can they see what's going on? Maybe the window needs blocking, or the dogs needs to be away from that area, or even thinking about putting them into another room, because you really want to interrupt that behaviour. But obviously if they can see what's outside, they can see the foxes and the I can't remember what animals it is.
Foxes and birds.
But foxes and birds. So my thing would be thinking about another room or blocking the window so they have no access to see outside.
Yeah, thank you, Louise. Okay. I would agree too. Our next question is, any tips on how to improve recall for an 18-month-old Dachshund?
So Dachshund is classic adolescence age, okay, so from about 5 months up to just under 2, they are classed as teenage dogs, okay. This is where the environment becomes more important, this is where their friends become more important, just like teenage humans. So we need to up our game basically. So if your dog is constantly running off, they do need to go back on a long line for management first of all. So a long line is, I use a 5 metre or a 10 metre line, and you do need to practice recall again. You might find that they don't respond. So my recall for voice cue is Chester come, which is my dog's name, and the word come. But you might find at teenage stage that doesn't work anymore. So we might have to change the word and rebuild up a new recall, or you might have to pop them into a whistle. But you do need to build up that recall. Also, doing it away from the distractions at the beginning stages. So you're doing it like at home first of all, when there's no other dogs around or whatever the distractions are, and then building it up. I do lots of recall games. So my recall workshop is all based on recall games and making myself more fun. Because if the environment's more fun, they're going to go for that.
Yeah.
So basically we need to up our game and make us the most important thing out there.
Yeah.
But if they aren't listening, then management needs to go in place, and that will be a long line for a moment until you build that back up. So for example, my Whippet lost it at 10 months. He was perfect up to 10 months, then he turned into a teenager. A bit like humans, I've got a human one, and they're exactly the same. The brain goes a bit, and they just need to. So he went on a long line for 4 months, and I kept practicing, took him away from the big groups of dogs and stuff, and I just really built up that relationship. And toy play as well, that helped a lot, and I got him onto a whistle. 4 months, and then back off the long line, and he's got perfect recall.
Perfect. Yeah.
But it did take me.
I always make a big fuss when I call them and they come. I always, give them a big pat, lots of fuss and praise.
Yeah, so praise as well. I do give treats as well. So treats are information. So praise is information. Yeah. So feeding that information, you're making a muscle memory. So if that becomes a muscle memory, they're going to repeat it.
Yeah. Brilliant. Right, our next question is, how can you stop an 8-month-old lab pulling on the lead?
Okay, so again, this is another teenage question. So he's the Labrador's worked out the environment's really important. The lead goes on, and pulling him is going to get from A to B. The main thing with lead walking, as obviously if we let that happen, and they're going to learn pulling it will get them to where they want. So the main thing we need to do first of all, again, which is it the environment first of all? Is it going towards the park, or is it going to someone round to his friends? Is that the exciting? Is that the reason they're pulling so much?
Because they're excited.
Yes. So the first thing I would be doing is, do we need a bit of management in place? Do we need to use a front fastening harness, for example, just to help us get through it? But with lead walking, the main thing is consistency.
Yeah.
So consistency, don't let them pull, bring them back to you, and we keep rewarding the side that you want them to be walking on. And I would always have, so what I normally do is especially I've got a puppy and a teenage dog, I have a fun walk. And then I have a separate lead walking walk. So that fun walk might be driving round to somewhere first, and then I'd practice the lead walking away from that walk, so it wouldn't just be on the way to the park. Yeah, so and you'll get lead walking, you'll get on better that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it is consistency. Lead walking, I probably think, is one of the most tedious things you can teach a dog. Okay.
Yes.
And there is no special cure. It is consistency, and keep practicing. You will get it, and one day it will just click. Yeah. But if you let them pull and don't practice, and then you might, it just will escalate kind of thing. And I always say to people, it takes 6 months to teach your dog to lead walk properly. Your dog might last 15, 16 years. I've got a 6-year-old border terrier. She's not pulling me now, but if it took me 6 months to get proper lead walking, that's only a little fraction of her life.
Yes, exactly. It's a small window.
Yeah. So
with Lola, I make her, every time she pulls, I make her sit.
So sometimes it's stopping.
And then we just have a reset, and then we go again. And if she pulls, then again we'll stop.
Yeah, that's exactly. So resetting. Yeah. So what you might find is sometimes you're walking. The first thing is to stop. Yeah. So I always say stop first of all. Some dogs will go, "Oh, sit," or "I walk back to my parents." Sometimes you might have to take a few steps back yourself to get your dog back to you, and then restart yourself. Sometimes you have to pretend to go the other way and then back on yourself,
Yes.
So actually, sometimes the treats work really well. Yeah. It's all individual with dogs. So actually, some dogs really work well with the treats there, and then you phase them out. Some dogs don't even respond to the treats because they're too excited because they're going out. So it is all very individual cases, really. So, but the main thing is, I don't want my dog pulling. So how do I rectify? First thing is, I don't want them to pull, so I'm going to stop.
Yeah. Next up, how to stop a dog barking at the door.
Okay, so this obviously is quite a common one. As we go to the door, we're excited, so our dogs end up being excited. I think actually the word hello can make a lot of dogs really excited. So us going to the door, especially if you've got children and other members of family in the house, they're all getting excited. The dog's like, "Oh my God, who are we going to see?" So my first thing would be, I need to put management in place when the doorbell goes. So for me, the doorbell would go, and I would pop my dog in another room at the beginning, because you always got to put management in place at the beginning. And then I would then work on doing some mat work or centre bed. So we would then say, right, we'll either have a mat or a bed, and we practice this completely away from the door. Okay.
Yeah.
And you send them to the bed. So you do it in the kitchen, way away from the front door first of all. You get them really used to a mat or a bed, and then eventually you would add I would record the doorbell. And take it away from the door area first of all, maybe the kitchen or the lounge. Play the doorbell, and then as you get them play the doorbell, you then get them to go onto the mat and the bed. Yeah. And then you add in distance. This is over weeks, by the way. Then you get the distance in, so you can actually get someone to ring the doorbell, and then they would associate going to bed, and they get a treat when they go into that bed.
Yeah.
So, but the first
really
most thing is management first of all. Yeah. Because I'm going to be realistic. I've got kids, I've got a husband, 2 dogs, and sometimes management is just easier. I'm going to put you in another room. Yeah. I let my children's friends in and stuff. All my children just answer the door to the delivery drive. Sometimes it's just like management is probably the easiest in a family home.
Yeah. The next question is how to stop a puppy nipping so it doesn't turn into a biting dog.
Okay, so when you bring your puppy home, obviously everyone has a nice little image that a puppy's going to come into the house, but they've just been with other puppies and their mum for 8 weeks, and they've communicated with their teeth.
Yes.
So the first thing we do is obviously when they start biting us, oh my God, what are you doing? Why are you using your teeth? So it's actually quite natural for them to use their teeth. We just got to guide them to use toys for using their biting and stuff. And obviously we need to communicate with them when they are doing it and give them alternatives to do.
Yeah.
I always find puppies get more bitey when they're hungry.
Yes.
When they're tired. So
and when they're excited.
When they need a poo sometimes, the toilet, they get really bitey. So sometimes in my check, if my dog becomes really bitey, I normally go through a checklist like a baby, like, are they ready for a sleep now? Are they ready for a meal? And you know, so I'd always go through that first. Are they just overstimulated and we've done way too much with them? Because they will grow out of play biting. They call it play biting, okay? But they will grow out of it naturally, as long as they don't get rewarded from it. So if you had a child, so if a puppy bit a child, like play bite the child runs down the hallway or down the garden. Oh God, this is great.
Yeah, it's a wonderful game, exactly.
So I always say to people, you've got to be boring, and you've got to encourage the toys, and actually give them an alternative to do. But also think when they're really tired, they can't really think straight, and actually do they need to sleep. So puppies need about 18 hours sleep a day, so it's a long time really. Yeah. And so we just need to say, and when they're hungry as well. I was going to say hungry then.
Hungry, yes.
But yeah, so when they're hungry as well.
I make sure. I mean, Lola's just destroyed that they've always got something
to chew.
And play with, because you know I think it's better than.
Well, I always think,
I don't chew a piece of furniture.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want my skirting boards chewed, so I'll give you some chews. So making sure they've got chew toys. I'm a big fan of giving my dogs chews, so I use quite a lot of chews in my house. In my classes, the dogs get chews because I find it's really releasing the endorphins as well. Also, you're going to get teething time from about 4 months onwards, 4 to 7 months. They need to chew.
When does teething stop?
So about 7 months, the teeth will fully form, but they do have movement in the gums. So so you might find the puppy stage of biting, and then they need to chomp on something. I found with the whippet, he loved wood. Yes. So I made sure I brought in wooden toys, so he had that substrate because he was taking the logs off the pile or off the log fire and stuff.
We've done that. That was one of Gus's toys. It's no longer.
So making sure they've got the correct, chew toys. Sometimes if they choose a substrate, so wood was in my house, I'd made sure I provided that for them. So if you find that they like plastic, you can get nyla bones. If it's wood, you can obviously buy chew roots and things like that. Yeah. But adolescence chewing can carry on, but again they just need more things to chew on. Yeah. And I always keep sort of old trainers that the children have outgrown, or chews I don't mind them eating, as long as they can tell the difference. That's fine. That's fine. And because sometimes it is with the chewing stuff and picking things up, sometimes it's just like having a child, isn't it? You just have to put it up higher or pop it away. So and if you have got lots of kids and other people in the house, it's just pop it away for a moment.
Exactly. Yeah. I always do a sort of sweep and just check that there's nothing that I would be upset if.
And that's it, and they do grow out of it, that kind of stuff. It's just, like I said, it's management again. A lot of management when you have a puppy. Yes. It's like, okay, I won't leave that out because they keep picking it up, and I'll bring it out in a few months, try it again, kind of thing.
You've got to have your eyes everywhere, haven't you?
It is like having another child, basically, in the house. And you've got plenty in this house.
Yes, a very full house here. The next question is tips for blending a new, smaller dog into the family when there's already a larger dog there in the family.
Okay, so obviously it's going to be a little bit harder because obviously the puppy's going to be absolutely tiny. The older dog might be really interested in playing. So obviously at the moment it's going to be a lot of supervision. I would probably put the bigger dog onto a lead when the little puppy's around at the moment, even in the house. A lot of baby gates to keep them apart as well, just because if you're not in that room, you shouldn't be leaving them at the moment until the older one, the bigger dog can work out that the little dog's not going to how it's going to play, and then the little dog needs to be confident around that big dog. And obviously a big dog and a little dog work really well together. They are really nice together, but they do just a lot of supervision really, and just trying to guide them how to play.
Do you use crates for dogs to have time out or sleep in?
Yes, I do use crates up to about a year and a half. It's there for if I ever need it, but my dogs have beds when they're older. But
Yeah.
I just found it's good for sleeping.
Yeah.
It gives them their own space, and I use it in the car. Don't use and as well. So
Yeah.
it's nice to have their own space, and especially if you've got a busy family, I'd then that space is that dog space.
Yeah.
The kids
And it's
can't
got
go near them. Yeah.
a safe place to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and if you know, I find I use the crate with Lola if suddenly I've got to go and do something upstairs and I can't supervise her with other dogs, or the doorbell rings, she'll go into her crate.
That's good. Yeah, that's fun.
And I find that works quite well.
That's good. Yeah.
Just to keep them separate when Yes, I know.
Again, it's like I said, it's management. A lot of it is a lot of management. You always talk about dog training and puppy training. Some of it is management.
Yeah.
Especially in a family home, we've got to be realistic as well, haven't we?
Yeah, we do. Oh, Lola.
Yeah.
You want that?
Okay.
My dog is very needy and barks a lot. What advice have you got, Louise?
Okay, so it does depend on the situation. I personally think is it attention barking? But my theory, I always look at why is this dog attention barking? Has it its needs been met? Has he had enough stimulation in the day?
Yeah.
Does he need to? Why is he attention seeking so much? Could be that he just got a bit bored. One evening he had a bit of excess energy, and then decided that works, has got loads of attention, and then repeats himself. Dogs only do what works. So if it worked, they will repeat it.
Yes.
So for me, if it's in the evening, what time of day is it? Is it in the evenings? You're sitting down and watching telly, which is normally the case from clients when they ring me up. Go, I'm just sitting down, why do you watch telly? And then they start. But this is where you'd introduce a chew or a stuffed Kong or something like that. So give them something to do, because they obviously need something to do, but they need to be doing it. And they can have it next to you, on a mat next to you. You don't have to put them in another room. You just need to give them an alternative behaviour. It would be a case of seeing, there is different barks in dogs. Yeah. And it would be a case of what kind of barking it is. From the needy side of it, I think it would be attention barking. So my thing would be, they need to have an alternative behaviour, or is it really tired and just needs to go to sleep as well? So you know. But so it's all individual cases. But sometimes even just giving them a chew for a dog that's overstimulated, that could calm them down as well. So it make alternative behaviours, saying why it's attention barking, I need to give them something else to do.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a full house.
Any advice on stopping a 20-month-old Labrador from jumping up? And then she goes on to say, and stealing bags from people.
Okay, so for that comment, it sounds like it's off lead on a walk. Okay.
Yeah.
So in my head, if that dog's doing that dog shouldn't be off lead around people. So I'll be popping it back on a long line, practicing your recall away from. So practice the recall again with no distractions, and then building it up by putting distractions in. Again, that dog will keep repeating it.
Yes.
If it works, I'll run over to that person, nick their bag of crisps,
and then there's attention.
Yeah, and then they get rewarded as well. It's self-rewarded, isn't it? Yeah. So if I go and nick people's bags, I get self-rewarded. So they're going to repeat it. So for me, I would be taking them away from such distracting environments first of all, and then building up on the recall.
Yeah. What age should I enroll my puppy in training classes?
Okay, so I'm just going by my own business. I do it when they're fully vaccinated, so it's normally around 11-12 weeks they first come to classes. So as soon as you can, really, because they have a socialisation period up to about 16, 17, 18 weeks, so you really want to get your first part of training in then. Yeah. And just being in that environment as well and learning. They're like little sponges. After about 18 weeks, they can start to turn into a teenager. It's like a bit of a mush brain, I like to call them. And they don't absorb as much as it's just they've got so much to contend with, the environment, my friends, and they're still learning, but it's a little bit harder, so it's better to get puppy training in as soon as you can.
Quite a few questions about first time dog owners. So Louise, what advice have you got to somebody getting their first dog?
Okay, so try with when you get your first puppy, it's a bit like having a first baby. Everyone has an opinion, so yes. It's literally first thing I would say, and I say this into my class, You know, I've got 18 years experience, please ask me rather than the person down the park.
Yes.
Sometimes the poor owners sometimes come in and they're so like
Overwhelmed.
really overwhelmed, and going to the pet shops as well. You know, they get a bit overwhelmed because there's so many brands of food.
Yeah.
And actually, I am starting to trial doing a puppy package soon that I will be offering pre-puppy package before you even get your dog. Is that I'm going to come and do a one-to-one with clients that we then assess the home.
Yeah, that's such a good idea.
And I would do a shopping list, and I would even go shopping with you. Basically, I found some clients, so I recommend saving stuff in class, and the client said to me the other week, I wish she was with me when I went shopping.
Yeah.
So
you can get
overwhelmed.
a whole load of stuff that you really don't need.
Basically, like you do with a baby as well. It's like you just have so much stuff.
No.
So it would be a case of enrolling for make sure you enroll with a trainer, right? With the professionals, because you know that's what we're trained to do. You know, get in there as soon as you can. You know, even book into if you're really struggling, book into a pre-puppy visit, or you're not even struggling, you just want that advice. You don't want to go and buy all this random stuff, waste a lot of money, because actually some people waste quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
Whereas, and we can be realistic with you and say this is what you're going to expect. So you're going to expect a few sleepless nights sleep.
Yeah.
You're going to expect trying to get a dog toileting, because at the beginning stages it's a lack of sleep and toileting as well.
Yeah.
And then the constant eating, because they have to have small tiny little meals.
Yeah.
And then once you get through that stage, and then you got the teenage stage where they go, oh, my friends are more important and the environment's more important, and it's just there is little stages throughout it. And also it's just try not to take too much in from too many different places is my biggest advice. Because there is so many different opinions, and dog training has evolved. So what people were doing 15, 20 years ago is completely different to what they're doing now.
Yeah.
And it's for the better. You know, it's evolved. Even when I've started, it's so much. You know, it's all about the dog. It's all about the choice, giving them choices, and actually, it lasts a lifetime, and getting that nice relationship.
Yeah, because I think those early days are really crucial to forming, a great relationship with your dog for years to come.
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, like socialisation period up to 5 months, around about, or just under, depending on the breeds, between 4 and 5 months. So that first 4 months of that dog's life, really, really, really important.
Yeah.
Okay, so ring a trainer, get advice if you're really stuck. Book in a pre-puppy visit as well before you even get the dog.
Yes.
So there is that, and obviously get into puppy classes as soon as you can, or have home visits. If you want to get on the crack on when you've got the puppy at home, people, trainers come to your house before the dog's fully vaccinated.
Yes.
So you can do that as well.
Can do that too.
But listen to the professionals, not everyone else.
Yes.
Okay.
And we've got a teenage hooligan here who's being very needy.
Yes.
Aren't you? Very, very needy. And you're dribbling on me. Right. Do you have any tips on calming and comforting dogs during storms? And I suppose that's probably relevant to fireworks as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and actually you do normally, if they're scared of storms, they end up being scared of fireworks
too.
And it could have been that they were fine at the beginning, and suddenly some of these fireworks are really loud as well. So really loud. Obviously you don't want to be over the top with them. Okay. Yeah. So my main thing is have the telly on, keep the curtains closed. And you can comfort them. It's not the whole myth is like don't comfort them. You can comfort them, but just don't be over the top with it. Maybe give them a chew. Give them something to do. Just be near them, but don't over smother them at the same time. Give them a safe space if they really want to bolt. I deal with a lot of Romanian rescues. I've got a lot of rescues. Just give them a little area that they can go in and hide away if they need to. But they may create their own area. Say some dogs like to go under the bed for just leave that like that. That's fine. As I said, just try to make the environment as calm as possible. So maybe we just put the radio on, or close the curtains. Yeah. But it can, you can get calming things. So it may be a trial and error. You can get adaptable collars. Yes. Adaptable plugins. You can get like different calming tablets as well. So that might help as well.
So our last question is, any tips for older rescue dogs who are nervous? We just sort of touched on that a little bit with the storms.
Yeah, so with the older nervous dogs, I'm assuming it's mainly out and about maybe, the question is based on. I think again, if it's a rescue dog, it's first about building up a relationship between you. Okay, they need to put their whole trust in you.
Yeah.
And it may be that when you're out on walks, you're getting distance away from things, because actually we need to tell them that we're not going to put them in situations.
Yeah.
If you can build that trust up between you and your dog is going to realise you'll be able to build a dog's confidence up, because they know that you're not going to put them in situations. Yeah. When you've got a rescue, and I deal with a lot of rescues, I've mentioned, I've got loads of rescues from different countries mainly, and the main thing is they are petrified. So they come into this they're so traumatised, and they are petrified. And people go, well, it's pulling on the lead. It's pulling on the lead because it's so anxious. Yeah. So it's adrenaline pulling. So for me, I'd go for calmer environments. You can hire the secure dog fields. There's a couple where I live, we've got secure dog fields where you can hire it for an hour, 2 hours, start in places like that, and quieter areas, and and building up, because it can take 72 hours for serotonin levels to go down on the dog if they've had a nervous period. Yeah. So if you find having a really bad walk and then you keep topping up every day, it's just going to and it's actually okay to give a nervous dog or a dog a day off a walk. So say you're having a really bad day and it's really nervous and I don't know what this dog's doing, it may be that it may be because it sees other dogs, people, give them a day off every now and then, just so it has a R&R at home kind of thing. At home it might be a different story. You're creating a safe space. I've dealt with a dog the other day that was worried about people coming into the house. That is their safe space. So this rescue has seen the house as a safe space. Suddenly visitors invaded him. So we are creating a safe space away from the visitors, and we're going to build up on to people coming in. But again, it depends on how bad the dog is. Not say how nervous he is, and is it inside the house or is it outside the house. But a lot of it is building up that trust first. And then giving him the choice. So but it's about choices and trust, really. And
I think for the owner as well, being really consistent,
and that as well,
with a nervous rescue dog, because if you're changing how you are, the dog's not going to know where it is.
Exactly.
So really,
and actually it'd be like this distance. Like when I see some clients, like they can walk down the road and see another dog, for example, but some dogs can't do that. So we're not doing them walks at the moment. We're going to do walks where we've got loads of distance, loads of places to duck off to and get away from people. We're going to do a couple days a week in a secure paddock. That situation. We're building up that dog's confidence. So for me, rescue dogs, I want to build that dog's confidence up. How am I going to do this? And it's all individual cases, but my main thing is I need to build their confidence up.
We've got a neighbour who lives quite close, obviously it's a neighbour, who has got a really nervous dog, and I know the times of day that he is out walking, and if our paths do cross, we call out to one another, and I'll turn around and go the other way, or he'll just duck off to a side and let me pass, and we have got a really good way of communicating. And I know that it's 6 o'clock most evenings he's out walking his dog, so I just make sure that we're not out. Sorry, Lou. That we're not out there at the same time, because I don't want to make their dogs more anxious. So it's being really mindful.
Definitely, and that would help if you had such lovely. You sound like you've got a lovely neighbour.
We have. We're very lucky.
But I mean, it is nice to work it out. Like the really boisterous dog. There's a dog down the road that's quite boisterous and jumping on rescues or something. You just avoid that dog that time, like you said. It is about being mindful and trying to give your dog the best life you can, and building up their confidence.
A hooligan. So I have a question for Louise. Louise, how do you train your dogs around chickens so they don't go and chase the chickens?
Okay, so obviously these guys, especially you said the teenage dogs,
Yes, so we haven't got chickens at the moment, but we are about to again. And Lola and Florence haven't come across chickens yet. Okay,
so my main thing would be, first of all, is actually they need to learn to be calm around it, and they need to get rewarded for being calm.
Yes.
You may have to intervene and have a lead on at the time. You're rewarding calmness, reward. I use a marker word when I'm training my dog, so I use the word yes.
Yeah.
Some people use clickers.
Yes.
I'm a big, just using my mouth. So yes. It's always with me. So I find that I would go out a few times. Every time you go near the chickens and they're nice and calm, yes, reward, yes, reward. There might be a distance that they can't cope with at the beginning. They might be we can get this far, But I didn't forget that far. I'm like, oh, look, there's a chicken. So you might need to work on distances and build it up slowly.
Yeah.
And you keep rewarding the calmness and rewarding the good choices again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. That
Okay.
was so helpful. Louise, thank you so much for answering all of those questions. There are a few questions that we were asked that Louise hasn't answered, mainly because they were repeat questions. They were, you know, on a similar vein, or specific behavioural questions, which were sort of were a bit tricky to answer. But Louise is going to be available for you to get in touch with her if you would like to work with her and have got a specific, you know, dog problem. So I will leave all of Louise's details in the description below this video. But we're going to do some training now, aren't we?
Yes.
This could be fun. Let's hope these guys behave. Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, so sometimes I do a few tricks in classes. It's nice to just do something different with your dogs, and they really enjoy it as well. Okay, I'm going to show you a rollover. So what you really need to, with a rollover is you need a good down first of all. So I'm just going to reward in the down. Here comes Mum. The joys of a multi dog house. Okay, so let's go back to the down. So we want to get them into a down, and we're going to do the rollover. So what you need to do is have the treat close to the nose, down to the over to the shoulder, and then you keep moving it over, and then they automatically go into a rollover. Good girl. Loads of leaves on you. Well done. Oh, we got. We're going to do it again.
They've all escaped.
We're going to go again. Going to go that way. Treat to the shoulder. Keep going. Oh, there you go. Can you do it? No, you can do it. You can do it. It's going to go this way. Sometimes the dogs prefer to go one way to the other. Can you do it? Yeah, you can do it. You nearly done it. No, I'm not doing it. Yes! That's right. You're nearly stuck. Yay! Some dogs would take ages to do that. So my border terrier took 2 weeks actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But because she's
Penny
quite a nice
have a go.
quite a nice shot. Straight. Penny, do you want to have a go? I might have to swap the dogs over. Oh, come on. Okay, I've got a treat in my hand, darling. Do sit. Go on your down. Take it down first. I need to get that down first before we can do the rollover. No, not familiar with the down, so.
Very good.
Yeah, Penny's not happy with the down.
She doesn't get it.
No, she doesn't get it. I might have to do something else with her. Penny. Penny. I might do a spin with her. Penny. The spin is getting them to follow a treat and bring it round. You can do it. Yay! Good girl. She's keep missing the treat. There we go. And then we can go the other way. Ready? Sit. Ready? Okay. Come on, you can do it. It's better to do it in the stand. There we go, 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 go. Yay, good girl. So spin's a nice one. Actually, you get a lot of movement in the spin. So if you go both left and right, it's really good to get their muscles all working as well.
Yeah.
But it's nice little party bits as well.
Very sweet.
You need to get in the stand. So obviously it's long body. Come on. You can do it. You can do it.
No,
No,
you
no,
have to
no,
go
you can do it. You can do it. It's like, no, I can only do this way. And some dogs prefer one way to the other.
I've got to put her down. It's so wiggly.
Okay, yes.
So wiggly.
Oh no, she's quite nimble as well, isn't she, at the moment? So yes.
Yes.
Oh, you want a little go with the oldie? You'll be alright, won't you? Come on, you'll do it straight away.
Yes. What's that about not being able to teach an
I
old
know,
dog new
there we
tricks?
go, there we go. Oh, you're just taking the treat out of my hand. That's good. You can do it, you can do it. Fine. You go. You've got that terrier in you, haven't you? Come on. Go, 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 go. No. No. We're all getting confused with each other now, aren't you? So yes. I know, sweetie. Oh, it's nice to have a load of Dachshunds on me though. Isn't it? Yeah, but trick training obviously is just a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, and like I said, it's just, you kind of have to work out how do we do this and then break it down into little segments. Obviously sometimes it can take weeks. Like
Yeah.
it took Charlie 2 weeks to do a rollover. So.
Wow.
And we've got one session here. One
Yes.
session, Florence.
You did really well.
Okay.
Really
Wow.
well.
Okay, well done. Yeah.
So Louise, what's the thing do you do when people come for puppy classes and dog training with you? What are the things that you're teaching to start with?
So the basic puppy classes, we start first of all. The first thing we teach is to get the puppy to look at us. That's the first thing. Okay. We want to see that, like I said, that build up that relationship. We teach them the recall, lead walking, position, sit down, stand. We do a lot of handling throughout the course because we find that I worked at a vet's for 8 years, and there's a lot of regression in handling if it's not done properly.
Yes.
Okay. I get dressed up. We dress up in various things. I've done that yesterday in class where I had a hat on, or just getting used to the human world.
Yes.
We do puppy play as well in class. So we talk about the body language. My team are really talking about the body language, what the dog's doing, if they like what's happening, if they're not. And not every dog gets on, so we do have to make sure we pair them up right as well.
Yeah.
Okay? So mainly the puppy classes are, I would say, socialisation. And socialisation isn't just about the play. Socialisation has been next to dogs.
Yes.
So really, your dog should be able to sit next to a dog without having wanted to play the whole time.
Yeah.
Okay. We teach to settle as well. Settle is really important. That it's not all about playing, training. It's about chill out as well. So we use a settle mat. So in week 1, we actually teach the dog to look at us, and then we do a settle mat. And then in the 6 weeks we work out. Is your dog toy motivated? Is your dog food motivated? And yes, we do use a lot of food at the beginning stages, but that does get phased out. And I still take a few treats out with me now, so because I like to tell my dog I've done it correctly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And depends on the next courses, your bronze course, your silver course, your gold. So your bronze, sometimes people have had some training previously, some of them haven't. So the first kind of class is to work out what the dogs know. We normally cover again your recall, just because as they get into adolescence we need to up our game.
Yes.
So there's different recalls. So I teach you different recalls. Because one recall might not work for every dog.
Yeah.
So you might find that this recall's better for this dog, and vice versa. Same with lead walking. I'll give you different techniques in lead walking. We do stay, we do door manners, we do leave it, we do eye contact. You do a lot of focus exercises. So mainly it's trying to get you through that next stage. We're very much passionate about young dogs because that's where we started. So I started as Puppy School Chichester, and I rebranded 2 years ago to South Coast Dog Trainer School. So we obviously we're passionate about the puppy side, but also we do teach adults as well.
Yeah.
But the mainly thing is to get to know the individual dog, and try to get the owner to help the owner understand the dog as well. The biggest buzz for me as a dog trainer is seeing that relationship work. And when the owners get it, and when I've pointed out body language and someone tells me, oh, that the dog's doing that because of this reason, and it's great. I love that when I see
So
that.
rewarding.
Yeah, it's really rewarding.
Yeah.
A lot of it is people think you're just working with dogs, but actually you're working with humans as well.
Yeah.
So actually,
I think it's how the owner is with their dogs is really important. It's a bit like as a parent of a child, it's our job to.
It's about guiding them. So dogs, puppies are like children, and it's like guiding them basically. So so when I had my first child, she's nearly 14 now. Okay, I went back to hearing dogs. Oh, these are mum and daughter, by the way. That's why mum's telling her daughter off. Okay. So I went back to work after maternity leave. And it was full shit. I went back and they go, okay, you're going to be in charge of the puppy block. So it was hearing dogs. You need to look after the puppy block. And I realised that I was doing the same as what I was doing at home. And it clicked, that was the day it clicked and went, oh, it's near enough the same as bringing up a child, bringing up a dog. So I always think the learning theory is the same in all mammals, and dogs are mammals and so are we. So, actually, they repeat what works, and that's what we need to guide them with, really.
Yeah.
And we are guidance for them. They live in family units. They will look up to their elders like we look up to our elders, and that's how they live. So it's all about guidance.
Yeah. Oh, Louise, this has been fascinating. Thank you so much for your time and for coming over and
That's
chatting
okay.
to us
That's okay. It's
today.
been lovely. It's been nice enjoying the sunshine here as well.
Yes. I'm going to leave all of Louise's details in the description, so if you would like to get in touch with her directly, you can. I hope that you've enjoyed this week's episode. I hope you found it helpful and interesting, and as always, I'm wishing you a really, really happy weekend, great week ahead, and I will see you next week.